Hello, I'm Emma Green, and today I'm going to talk about healing tennis elbow naturally. That means without any invasive procedures, such as injections or surgery. So basically the things that you can do probably quite easily at home yourself that will help to heal tennis elbow. You can access this material in greater detail, either in my book, Tennis Elbow Relief 2.0, or through my podcast. Just search Tennis Elbow Queen on Apple or Spotify. You'll find me. Go through season 1 sequentially. That kind of takes you through step by step what you need to be doing to set a really good foundation. When we're talking about healing tennis elbow naturally, there's a couple of different elements to this. Obviously, the main element that we consider is the tendon itself. The tennis elbow affects the outside of the elbow. It's the bony point right on the outside of the elbow where the tendon attaches. And it's a relatively small tendon. It's only a centimeter. It's like quite a small tendon. And obviously, it can create big problems for people when it is irritated, when it's degenerating, when it's injured. And so the tendon is the tissue that we need to heal. Now, what we know about tendons is that when they become injured through overuse, like tennis elbow, or even if tennis elbow is triggered by a slip, trip, bump, or fall, if you've bumped your elbow, it can trigger tennis elbow. If tennis elbow has been triggered by whatever means, that tendon is going to degenerate. A tendon is a connective tissue. It basically connects the muscle to the bone. That's all a tendon does, connects muscle to bone. That connective tissue, that tendon, essentially on imaging looks like a tightly wound up rope. All the fibers are very tightly packed together. They're all very uniform. When the tendon is affected by tennis elbow and it starts to degenerate, imagine getting hold of a rope and twisting it the wrong way. So the fibers come apart, cells get in there that shouldn't be there. That's essentially what happens in tennis elbows, degeneration of the tendon. So it's degenerating. Reverse that, we can change it, we can tighten that rope back up. But it happens very slowly in a tendon. And the reason for that is the anatomy of a tendon and the physiology of the tendon. The tendon doesn't have a good blood supply. So it's very slow to heal, because we need the building blocks for healing, which come in the circulation, they come in the blood flow. So when we're talking about healing the tendon, to actually heal the tendon, to reverse that degeneration, to change that, there is literally one exercise that does that, and that is eccentric loading of the tendon. Now, if you just start with eccentric loading of the tendon, if the tissues are not prepared and not ready to tolerate that eccentric loading, you're just going to make yourself worse. It's just going to feel worse. It's going to feel uncomfortable. And that's why I started to look at this and go, right, we need to go through these certain phases to prepare the tissues, allow the tissues to heal, and allow the tolerance of you to be able to tolerate these exercises that are essentially going to heal the tendon. So my program is basically split up into 4 phases. The eccentric loading to heal the tendon is in phase 3. That's not even right at the beginning. We've got to do some stuff first. Phase 1, this is what you're going to find in all of season 1 of the podcast. And obviously you can find phase 1 in the book. It basically takes you through setting the foundation for allowing these tissues to heal. And so I'm just going to list them through. Literally, this video would probably be 8 hours long if I talked about each piece, because that's just how long the videos are in my program, because it goes through every single bit in detail. So phase 1, we're looking at relative rest. That means don't do anything that hurts. We're looking at heating the heck out of it. That increases circulation to the tendon. Remember, tendon doesn't have good circulation. We need to boost it. Icing it if you need to. That can bring down inflammation if you've irritated it, or if you have bumped it, banged it, if there's any kind of swelling there, ice is good for that. Looking at your posture. Poor posture will make this last longer. Looking at ergonomics when you're sitting at your desk or whatever type of job you're doing, looking at how that can affect your tennis elbow. Biomechanics of your sport, whether that's tennis or golf, obviously that's going to play a big part too. Looking at the types of braces and particularly when to use them. looking at different types of taping and again, when and how they are beneficial. Sleep, we heal when we're asleep. If you can't sleep, you're not going to heal. So looking at how we can use sleep and sleep hygiene habits to improve that. Looking at different types of pills, potions, lotions, topicals, again, things like that can have an effect. And now just to say here, not one of these things is going to heal the tendon. You already know that to heal the tendon, you have to do the eccentric loading. Not one of these things is going to heal the tendon, but put all of these things together, this is like the recipe for success. Okay, so pills, potions, lotions, nutrition. Nutrition is huge. If you have a poor diet, you're not getting the building blocks for healing into your body, it's going to struggle to heal. Nutritional supplements. This is something that has really blown up over the last few years. It's something that, again, is very important. What should you take? When should you take it? How should you take it? How much should you take? All of these things are important to address. Hydration, obviously, if you're dehydrated, you're not going to be able to heal. Cardio exercise is something that we use as an important strategy in phase 1 to allow the increase in circulation that's going to optimize the healing process too. Relaxation, if your muscles are tight, which happens when we're in pain, that's going to slow down your healing process. So how we add in relaxation, visualization, and meditation. Tai Chi, I use that as a nerve mobilization technique and a nervous system calming technique. There is the empowered relief class, which is actually nothing to do with tendons. It's all to do with chronic pain. If you've had pain for 3 months or longer, you have chronic pain. We know chronic pain affects the body and brain in a particular way, and we need to reverse those changes. There are particular strategies that we can utilize that do that. Again, it's all about optimizing the body for best healing. The empowered relief class helps to reverse the chronic pain changes, and it also calms the nervous system. You learn 4 specific techniques in that class, and then that helps to calm the nervous system. It preps your body to then be able to heal in a better way. So all of that is setting your foundation. Forest bathing, this is where we get a bit woo-woo, and I never thought I'd be talking about these things. If you'd have asked me at the beginning of my physical therapy career, would I be advocating forest bathing and meditation and things like that? I'd be like, heck no, that's not me. But thankfully, the medical research, the science behind it has caught up, and we now see the changes that these things make. Forest bathing, meditation, we can see the brain biochemistry change. We can see on functional MRIs how it affects our brain. And if we can normalize the brain, because we get abnormal changes with chronic pain, if we can normalize the brain through some of these strategies, that is then very helpful at optimizing your body for healing and allowing you to heal in the fastest possible way. Calming the nervous system, we use the breath in the empowered relief class. We teach you how to do that to calm the nervous system, and meditation and Tai Chi, as I have mentioned. Okay, moving on to phase 2, we're now going to normalize the muscle tension. So you have to keep those phase 1 strategies going because they're all working on optimizing the healing process. If you stop doing them, you're going to slow yourself down. It seems a lot, well, can I do the meditation and then not do the visualization? I'm slowing yourself down. So, it's really your choice, but it's best if you can do all of them. Okay, phase 2, we normalize the muscle tension. And so we work on the soft tissues. We work on specific soft tissue techniques. We work on stretches of specific muscles and specific tissues. We look at regaining full range of motion, not just in the elbow, because we're not just focusing on the elbow. We're going to look at the neck. We're going to look at the upper back. We're going to look at the shoulders. How are the shoulder blades moving? We're looking at the elbows, wrists, and hands. We're looking at everything because everything's connected. So it's really important to make sure that we're regaining full range of motion through everything. If you have a reduced range of motion in your neck, it can potentially affect your elbow. We add in yoga in phase 2. Again, yoga has been shown in the medical research to reverse the chronic pain changes. So we're adding that in. And then activity-specific movements. This is where we get, yay, we start doing sport-specific stuff. This is a transition from the Tai Chi into sport-specific movements that are specific to your sport or your activity, but are also nervous system mobilizing exercises that we are getting the body used to doing again and staying comfortable. So it's all good. It all works together. Then we move into phase 3. And this is where we start adding in the eccentric loading. This is where we start to actually focus on the tendon and to load the tendon. So heavy load eccentric training is what's going to heal the tendon. We also make sure, are we just looking at tennis elbow? Is it just that? Because the longer you've had this, the more likely it might be, well, is it golfer's elbow as well? Is there a biceps issue or a triceps issue? Is there a shoulder impingement? What are we looking at? So we want to address everything, because if we just focus on the tennis elbow tendon and there's something else going on and we don't address it, then you're going to struggle to heal. And it's just going to be this perpetual cycle that you're taking yourself through. So heavy load eccentric training, we're going to do that. We also talk about tendon neuroplastic training when we're talking about the heavy load eccentrics. I know that's a bit of a mouthful, but it's a specific way of doing the eccentrics that has been shown to be not just effective for healing the tendon, but also getting the muscle recruitment back in the best way possible. Because there was some research done that showed that even though the tendon was healing, the muscles were just not quite getting back as good as they were pre-injury. And so we add in a simple element and it fixes it. So making sure tendon neuroplastic training, that's something that we add in as well in phase 3. We're looking at the central sensitization and desensitizing that. We continue to work on the nervous system is basically what that is. And we also focus on other things. We check out the core. Is the core weak? Have I ever met anybody who can activate their core correctly from the outset? Probably like literally on one hand, because our concept, or generally what the concept of core is and core exercises and how to do them, is not necessarily always correct. So we work on specifically activating the 4 core muscles in the correct way, in the most normal movement way possible. So we work on the core, we work on neck strength, we work on shoulder blade strength, we work on rotator cuff strength, as well as looking at the heavy load eccentrics further down as well. We also look at regaining proprioception. The definition of proprioception is basically knowing where your joint is in space without having to look at it. And I know that sounds weird, but if I close my eyes, I know my arm is up in the air because the proprioceptive receptors in my shoulder are telling me the position that that joint is in without me having to look at it. We lose proprioception around joints that have injuries to them. The easiest one for people to understand is around the ankle. If you have an ankle sprain, if you roll your ankle, you lose the proprioceptive ability of those tissues around the ankle to tell you where you are in space. Now, the reason that's important in the ankle is if you're walking down the road and you step on a stone and you roll your ankle, a normal ankle will send the messages up to the brain to say, hey, we're not going in the right direction here. The brain sends the messages back down to the muscles to say, hey, switch on, and it pulls you back into alignment before you put your weight on it and you roll that ankle. If you've rolled your ankle previously and you haven't rehabbed it correctly and you haven't got your proprioception back, you're walking down the road, you step on that stone, you don't get those messages. You put your full weight on it, you roll your ankle again. I hope that makes sense. We have similar receptors around every joint of our body, and we know that we lose proprioception around the elbow when we have an issue like tennis elbow. So in phase 3, we're also doing exercises to regain the proprioception around the elbow, normalize it so that the joint is protected when we're doing certain things in the future. And then we get to phase 4, which is most people's favorite phase, because once they've been pain-free for an entire week, doing all the phase 1, 2, and 3 exercises and elements, then we can start getting back to function. We can start increasing endurance. We can increase what they're doing. So actually in phase 3, we do also progress the activity-specific, the sport-specific elements. And then in phase 4, it's getting back to actually playing and doing everything you want to do with no restrictions. We also do focus a little more on nerve mobilizations in phase 4 if they are still needed. A lot of the elements that we add in through phase 2, phase 3, a lot of them are nerve mobilization exercises as well. So we are focusing on the nervous system in every single phase. We are doing things to heal the tendon through every single phase. So the elements are all in there, and all of them, as you can see, are completely natural. There's no invasive procedures here. And this does heal tennis elbow. I know that's a bit of a whistle-stop tour. You can get the book. You can find it on Amazon, Waterstones, Barnes & Noble, Walmart. There's a lot of different places you can find the book, Tennis Elbow Relief 2.0 by me, Emma Green. You can listen to the podcast. That's on Apple or Spotify, and go through season 1 sequentially. That's going to take you through all of the phase 1 elements. Season 2 is going to talk about phase 2, and that will be coming out at the beginning of 2025. You can also watch the videos on YouTube. There is a playlist specifically for the podcast. You can watch those videos and implement what you learn. And if you want me to help you on your journey, don't hesitate to reach out. I have individual coaching, I have group coaching, I have a free Facebook group you can come and join. So there are lots of ways that we can get you to heal your elbow. But know that suffering with tennis elbow is not okay, and it's unnecessary because it is resolvable. You can see all of those elements that I've just talked through in a very fast way, but you can see this is not a, what one thing do I need to do to heal my elbow? It doesn't work like that, but if you find the combination of things, then it does work. And this is going to continue to evolve as we learn more, as the medical research changes, as more research comes out. This is going to continue to evolve and change. It's so exciting when we see these different things come out. Everything I teach is evidence-based, which means there is research there to show what these different elements are doing and how they are helpful in the healing process. I hope that helps. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out. I would love to see you in one of my programs, in one of my groups. If you are not quite ready to heal your elbow yet, but you know that you need to get your general fitness, your general wellness, your general health, you need to resolve that, you need to improve that, come and join my membership. It's not elbow specific, it's health and wellness. A lot of these pillars that we were just talking about, we focus on one each month, and we add in healthy habits so that we can improve our health and wellness. And that's basically optimizing your body for healing. That's the Optimize membership. You can find that on my website, tenniselbowqueen.com/optimize. Come and join us there if you are ready to start improving your health and wellness. I hope to see you soon in one of the programs. Don't hesitate to reach out if you have questions, and I'll see you on the next video. Take care. Bye.